Good evening, ITB family. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this February 25th, 2025. Glad to be here. Glad to be breathing on this side, alive and happy and blessed to be here. Today we have another client highlight. We've been running this all February, and we're gonna run it into March as well. But today we have Miss Barbara Williams Lewis here with us. She is the CEO of Veterans Housing LLC. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to start the webinar. And y'all know how we do. It's very conversational, very laid back, very chill. And y'all type in your questions as we go along, and I'll answer them as we go along. So, Miss Barbara, please introduce yourself.
Well, hi, family. I am excited and happy to be here. So yes, this is a wonderful day to be on this side. Let me tell you, to be alive. Yes, because there's so much we can do to help each other. So my name, as was just stated, is Barbara Williams Lewis. I'm the CEO and president of Veteran Housing LLC, along with my husband, Earl Lewis, the third. So we are owners of Veteran Housing LLC here in Richmond, Virginia. And we are just so excited to be able to come today and talk to you guys and tell you a little bit about Veteran Housing LLC. So I'm gonna let you take it from there, Kristen.
That is good. Thank you, Miss Lewis. I can tell you're excited. So,
Yes.
my first question is going to be, I like I told you earlier, we always go into how we actually meet our clients and how we first met. So you tell, I didn't originally meet you.
Right.
Miss
That's
Johnson
right.
and Charnay had met you out. So talk to us about how they met and the conversations that y'all had together. And with Aaron, I know Aaron was a person, like the
Yes.
real person who introduced you all. But tell us how that
Yeah.
process went and how your first thoughts and everything.
You guys, you know how you get invited to an event and you'd be like, oh, should I go? Do I want to go? And we were like, yeah, my husband and I said, yeah, we're going to go because they're going to have free food. so,
That's usually how
so
they
I'm
do
just
it.
being real, family, being
That is
real.
how they do
Yeah, so we actually went to an event that American Freedom Prosperity had host for some of their members. And so we show up and we go in and, we get our order and everything. We place our order and we kind of start looking around like we typically do to look for others that look like us. And so I saw Miss Charnay there. Her and actually her mother, Miss Johnson, was there as well. And so anyway, I didn't say anything at that time. And as the program went along, finally, Miss Erin Hicks, who is a fabulous host, she got up and she introduced Charnay. And Charnay, and I'm sorry, I always pronounce her name wrong. Forgive me.
No, it's fine.
She got up and spoke a little bit about In The Beginning Incubator, In The Beginning Incubator, right? And what services they provide. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening. You know, guys, how you have just this aha moment. Oh my God, I need to be connected and talk to these people. And so I did. After the presentation, I got up, I walked over, I introduced myself, and I was, first of all, excited to hear where I was intrigued to hear what Miss Charnay is doing on her side with the medical side. So anyway, talked a little bit about that. And then I shared with her kind of what my husband and I, what we wanted to do with veteran housing. Such as starting a program. So that's how I met. I think that's been now maybe coming up on, I don't remember, 6 months. I can't remember, guys, how long. But I
think it was around the fall of last year.
Okay.
Was it like it could have been October, November sometime. It might have been, like I said, I wasn't at that event.
Right.
Miss Johnson and Charnay had been going to the events with Aaron. But I think that was around the fall of last year.
Yep, you're probably absolutely right, because it hadn't gotten cold yet. It was still kind of, temperature was still kind of like in the maybe 50s or 60s. Yeah. And so that's how I initially met you guys there at that. Well, not you, Christian, but your sister and your mother at that event. And I'm gonna tell you, it met my expectations beyond measures. Let me tell you, it truly did. It really did.
Yeah. So I know at first, when we first started, I know y'all were very hesitant because in business, I think a lot of people don't understand. And even me, I was always on politics side. So working with AFP and Aaron, that was kind of a connection through me. And I felt like, okay, this is good. But she also said, well, y'all are a business. I want to help businesses. And I know when we first started working with y'all were a little hesitant. We had a lot of meetings, a lot of pre-meetings.
Yes.
Had to look over the contract, make sure y'all knew each other's stuff. I remember all those conversations, trying to go through everything. And I know y'all were hesitant because what people don't realize is in business, sometimes you get burnt. Sometimes you deal with people that's not who they say they are, do what they do, or don't do their service the way they say they're going to do their service, and you end up losing money. And then you go to court, or you just handle it.
Lose your money.
Lose your money, exactly. Lose your money, or you go to court. So it's like I know for a lot of people that come to us, they're hesitant or they're scared, but
Mm-hmm.
we worked you through that process. We had the conversations, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand is we have those conversations because we understand what it's like to be a startup, and when you just have an idea, and when you're trying to get support, especially
Mm-hmm.
get what you need in the first 5 year phase.
Right.
We understand. So, like I said, I remember the calls. I wasn't on all the calls.
Yeah.
All I was like, okay, when I'm doing their website, when I'm doing their local, when am I doing their little stuff? When am I
Yes.
doing that stuff? That's all I went for, and we got there. But it
Yeah.
was a process, and we had the process, and we got to where we needed to get to. So
Right.
I'm glad, and I'm glad that you continue to work with us. I'm glad that you're here with us now, and I'm happy that you enjoy working with us. And
Yes.
so my next question is, so somebody's in the chat. They said they're interested in learning in about housing market, but you're a little bit different because you're
Different.
housing for veterans. So I want you to
Right.
explain what
Yeah.
veteran housing actually does and what your organization does, what y'all services are.
Yes, yes. So, again, thank you, first of all, Kristen. So, yes, we provide housing for veterans. So, we have properties that we have that have, of course, like 5 or 6 bedrooms, and we can put 2 veterans per room. So we're not into like the real estate side of it. So
Exactly.
veterans, when they reach out to us and they're looking and they find out, veterans can find out about our organization through different social services organizations that have our contact information. So matter of fact, to your point, just received a call last week from a veteran who had went through an organization and heard about us, and he called us. So he was looking for 1 bedroom for him and his dog to stay in. So, but I just want to say, for right now, we have not opened yet. We are going through the process of receiving our license for a state licensed facility for veteran housing. So that's the difference for the person who put that question in the chat. We are providing housing for veterans. So right now we're starting off with rooms. We're providing veterans rooms. The goal is down the road to actually acquire enough money so we can build or purchase apartments to provide them with apartment staying instead of for just rooms. So that's the difference, I think, right there. To answer your question, we're not in the real estate game, but we are in a way, but really providing housing and rooms for veterans.
Mm-hmm. So what type of services for the veterans you offer? The housing? What other
Okay.
type of services do you offer as far as? And I know somebody, Miss Sharon Williams, she said that I'm gonna bring up these points. I'm gonna actually bring these points up at the end, towards the
Okay.
end of the other live, because we got other questions popping in. But what other type of services other than just housing specifically? Because you focus on veterans. So what type of services do you offer these veterans when they come? Is it just they get opportunity to live in the housing facility, or do they get other like mental health services or anything like that?
Yep. So thank you for that question. And let me kind of back up a little bit, because when you originally asked about what we do, right? So our organization, let me provide just a little more content to that. So our organization, our name again is Veteran Housing LLC. We are a private for-profit assisting living company. Okay, we're located locally, Richmond, Virginia. We were established in 2024, and again, as I stated, we are still working towards to get our license. Our mission is to provide high-quality, compassionate care to veterans in need of assisting living services, and particularly residential services. But the main services that we will be offering, so let me say this. At Veteran Housing, we are specializing offering a comprehensive range of assisting living services tailored to the unique needs of veterans. Our services include assistance with daily living activities, such as if we need to make sure that they're getting their medications, medication management, personal care, meal preparation and transportation, along with specialized support for some medical conditions. However, we're mainly, though, I want to just emphasize, we are mainly focusing on the residential side, but we will be offering meal preparation for our veterans who stay in our facilities. We will provide them. We can do some very minimal medical condition, medical management with their medication. We will provide transportation eventually for them to get back and forth to their appointments. We are going to provide mental counseling, and that incorporate comprehensive of substance abuse as well as mental abuse. But we will be partnering with an organization to provide those services. Mm. And so those are pretty much most of the basic services that we're going to provide, but it will be for them that stay in our facilities. So it will be with a room. So we'll have 6. We're starting with one facility we're working on that we're going to open up first. It's going to have 6 bedrooms. So we'll put 2 veterans per room. The rooms are kind of large. They'll have nice room size for them. They'll have a kitchen, one central kitchen that they'll use, but we'll be providing meals for them. There'll be a living room for them to entertain their family members, or if they want to have guests to come by. But yeah, those are the services that we will be offering, and I'm happy to list those again if I need to.
Mm-hmm. We'll get it back at the end. So, okay. So I have another question. And somebody else asked a question along the same lines. So in order for you to do these, in order for you to get of course, have your property and get everything for that, and for the government, of course, working for the government, mm-hmm. What did you need? What did you need to start that process? And what did we provide for you to start that process? What services did we provide for you to start that process?
Yes. Awesome. Thank you again. Great question, Christian. So that's your name. In the beginning, incubator says it all, right? And you think about an incubator, how when you're inside, you're incubating, you're growing, you're developing those services and resources. And that's exactly what In the Beginning Incubator did. They came alongside of us, my husband and I, with veteran housing, to provide us with the resources we didn't have and the knowledge that we didn't have. So what was needed was we need to come up with a manual or proposal for what services we were going to offer for our clients, which are the veterans that's going to be staying with us. We will also have an administrator that has to have certain certified training to be able to run the organization. But the most important piece that I want to say is that In the Beginning Incubator helped us with our manual development. They from the beginning to the end, a 300-some page document that outlines how, as from a government perspective, what policies, how you have to be compliant, because you have to be in compliance with offering certain things, and you have to make sure that your facility provides what the government requires you to have. And that was the piece that my husband and I, we did not have. But let me tell you, we were at ease. We were at home incubating while you guys were doing to come up with our proposal. So we proudly have a manual, and we feel confident that we can go before any industry or speak to anybody about running one of these organizations, because the manual walks you through step by step every piece that you need. And that's what In the Beginning Incubator you guys did to us. You provided us with exactly you guys came alongside with us in meetings. We had to schedule some meetings with the VA officer to talk about, kind of what are their guidelines, what do they also require, because they have to come out and inspect the properties. You guys came along with us on there. You was right there in the incubating with us at those meetings to speak on our behalf, to be our representative if some questions came up that we could not answer. You guys were there to answer those questions. We had meetings with some of our one of our investors, matter of fact, who is actually partnering with the property. We brought him on site to In the Beginning Incubator to meet with you guys to answer and address any questions or concerns that he had, and you guys were wonderful. But the most essential piece that I cannot say enough about is the fact that manual that documents and walk you through how this whole process from A to Z, how to run a state assistant facility is crucial, guys. Because once you go to apply for your license, they're going to require you have that. Because you're going to have, because you have to follow their guidelines, and you have to be in compliance to all the government rules and regulations.
Yep, and that's and just so everybody has a good idea of how we work. That was all Charnay, and
Mhm.
because she's the handbook and manuals person.
Yep.
You know, your needs were different than what other people need, and you were in a different point because you already had a lot of things already in order for the house. Like you said, it was just the when you deal with the government,
Right.
everything is bureaucratic, it's
Yes.
processes, it's legal jargon, jargon.
Sorry, you said it.
Oh,
Yep.
I said it right.
Yep.
And it's just a lot of process, and we've dealt with that with other companies as well. When they have to come through the walkthroughs, they have to have all this information, and because when people think, and we see it now in the government, with a lot of these things that are getting cut, they
Mhm.
use processes that are what you could consider outdated processes that are
Mhm.
all pen and paper, all on. It's legible on paper, and it's
Right.
paper. Like even in for example, we work with an individual who does food traceability,
Mhm.
and he gets oysters from the Chesapeake Bay,
Right.
and the truckers have to keep a pen and paper manual of
Mhm.
the oysters as they're going through the process of being their transfer process from
Mhm.
all the way from the ground into the
Yeah.
truck into the next place wherever the store, all the way up until where you eat them.
Right.
So
Right.
the chain, all the way through the chain. So everything is very, especially dealing with the government, it's very pure bureaucratic. It's
Mhm.
very down to the detail. And like you said, it's 300 pages, but
Yep.
like you said, it's needed, it's necessary, and it walks
Oh,
you through how you
yes.
run the facility. Any questions that you might have, you could just go to the manual and
Right.
go there. Also, I feel the same way because you didn't mention the website. I did the website for you and your logo
Yes.
as well.
Yep. Well, thank you. Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, because I'm trying to kind of stay structured and focus on what you're asking. But
Mhm.
yes, that was definitely one of the services you guys provided, was the website
Yep.
for us. And you can see the beautiful logo behind me. I hope you can see it. That's
Yep.
all with Christian, and it's awesome, right? And
Yep.
so, and I mean, and guys, they're reasonable. Their costs are reasonable. And I want to piggyback on what you said about the legal part, right? The jargon. But keep in mind, though, that is what's needed to make sure that those safeguards are in place. Because when you run a facility, you're responsible for those lives, those
Exactly.
veterans that's in there. And you want to make sure you have a company that understands that and knows exactly what those compliance and what those guidelines require, so that keeps us, veteran housing, out of trouble down the road. So
Exactly.
whenever we come to have audit, somebody wants to come in and audit us, somebody wants to come and do an inspection, because that's a part of it as well. Because of that manual and how detailed you guys, Shanae, and you guys provided it, that'll keep us out of the legal aspect of it, right?
Yeah. And
Because
we've
we can,
seen it. We've
yes,
seen it go side. We've seen it for some
go
people go
south.
sideways,
Yeah,
and it really goes south.
yes,
And it does run into, you can run into legal, and it's not just for housing.
right,
We're
right.
not talking about just because you could run into so many issues,
Oh my God, yes,
billing issues. You could bill and provide all types of issues going
right,
through the
right.
down the line. It's so many things that could possibly happen. You
Oh my
have
goodness,
to follow
yes.
each step.
Yeah, that process. Because again, they're there not to keep you out of business. They want you to do these organizations or your companies. They do, but they also understand there's liability as on our end. So they want to
Mhm.
make sure that we are being covered too. And that's how I looked at this. I didn't look at it as, oh my God, it's a long drawn out process. My God, 300 some pages manual.
Yeah.
It's no. I looked at it truly because, and again, I had Miss Johnson. come alongside me. I had Shanae there and you with the website design and helping us with our logo and all of that. I had you guys again, the incubator. I had a family that was there to make it easy. So I didn't feel like I had to just go through all this on my own. So I just really want to be real clear about that, guys. You have a family come alongside you, right? They help you through whatever business or process you're going through. But right now, for my husband and I business, we had the whole family. Really, y'all are a family, brother, sister, and mama. Right? That was there with us to get us through the whole process. But yes, I could go on and on about the services that you incubator in the beginning incubator provided. But yes, so to your point, thank you. You did the wonderful website for us, and guys, he has it listed there. Go check it out. And Shanae and Miss Johnson helped us come alongside with our coaching, with our counseling, all of that.
And I think with that also gives you an idea, because again, veterans, as we can see, fall under a lot of them are disabled, and they fall under that category that are often left out. And there's not a lot of individuals that are actually working with people and working with specifically veterans and giving them the support you need. So give me an idea of the perfect individual or client that you would want to work with for Veterans Housing LLC. What does that client look like? What does that individual look like coming to you, and what can they expect when they come to you?
Yes. Well, thank you again. That's a great question. And I kind of alluded to it earlier when I said, I think just last week, I got a call from a veteran. So this particular veteran was looking to transition. He was living in another state, and he was living on another side of Richmond or a different state. He was looking to come to Richmond or either come to another side of Richmond. And so he was looking for a place to get for just, again, I mentioned he had a dog, but he was not a disabled veteran. So he didn't really require a lot of services. He was really looking for just a housing part. And so I want to emphasize again, we are really focusing on the residential side. However, we will offer some services. So we don't really have, the facility set up, it won't be set up to handle. So if you do have like a disability that keeps you a handicap where you do need assistance, we don't have that type of facility. Our facility and what it looks like far as the veterans we're looking for are veterans who can, for the minimum, do most things for themselves. They can, clothe themselves. They can, go to the store if they need to. They have a job. And now we will take. That's not to say we won't take a disabled veteran, as long as that disabled veteran is able to provide and do services for themselves. Now, when I mentioned early on some of the services we provide, one of my mentions was like medical management. And that simply is where we help make sure and kind of like give you some reminders of taking your medicine in that capacity. But we will not be dispensing medicine. We would not be responsible.
That's a whole nother legal. That's a whole nother thing.
God, yes.
That is a whole nother. That's a whole nother business.
Oh my
that's
God.
A whole nother set of rules and regulations you got to go through.
You better believe it. And that's why I wanted to specify that, because you're right. They will come after you and you have to go through a whole nother process for that. So we really do focus on the residential for veterans, particularly that they can take care of themselves for the most part, where they don't really require, serious 24-hour assistance, but they can come in. But like I said, if they are disabled, let's say they have a walking disability or something of that nature, but they can still maintain and take care of themselves, we certainly will take that veteran. But I think to answer your question is that mainly we're looking to right now have house veterans that can mainly maintain for themselves, and we come alongside and offer them services such as meal preparation, dietary, we could give them some suggestions or ideas for the proper way to prepare food or the proper food that will help them for healthy eating habits. But we will be providing food preparation. We will provide, not maybe right in the beginning, but we will provide some transportation, like if they need to get to the VA. That's one of the one things too, Christian, I want to mention. We've heard from quite a few veterans where getting to their appointments, right, over at
Yeah.
the VA hospital. We're going to also eventually provide them assistance with getting their benefits. That's another thing we hear. Veterans
That
say,
is
well,
those are all, because I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have our cousin. I have a cousin who is going through that process.
yes, yes.
He's disabled, and well, he wouldn't consider himself disabled, but he has a form of
Yep.
cancer, and I suspect he got it from the military.
Yep. Mhm.
But the process for him to get his disability and go
Yeah.
to the VA and go get to all
Paperwork
his
and everything.
equipment
Mhm.
and get to everything, it's stressful and
Yeah.
it's hard and it takes a lot. And not only is he sick, it's just like it doesn't stop. And to have
Right.
somebody like you come in and advocate for them, similar to how we advocate for you all in our businesses,
Yes.
small business we work with. It's good to have veterans housing do that in that capacity. So I'm happy. I'm glad to hear that you also are
Oh,
taking
yes.
off
Yeah,
that.
coming alongside. I love that. Coming alongside with them is to help them with their process to get their benefits, because that's one of the number one things we do here. I should say maybe the second one. The number one thing is housing.
Housing.
Somewhere to live, right? The second one is with their benefits. There are so many veterans that are homeless that don't even know how to get access to their benefits, and they give up. They get discouraged because they find out when they go to the VA and find to get somebody where they don't have the proper documents, and so they get discouraged and they don't go back. But within our organization, we'll be able to help with that. The administrator that's going to be there, she'll be able to help them get all their paperwork together, so that they can get started with getting their benefits. So yes, we will definitely be helping them with that as well.
So I have another question. What made you want to work in housing for veterans specifically? I don't think I've ever asked you this. What's your story, or is it like a family relative, or is it your husband maybe who is a veteran? What made you want to work in housing for veterans specifically?
Again, great question. Thank you again, Christian, for that. Yes. So my husband and I's story is quite simple. And I think most households had someone who's been in some branch of the military.
Military, yeah.
So my nephew, which is, I call him really my first son, but he's not. He's my nephew, my sister child.
Yeah.
He went into the Marines. And he just recently retired. And so we were so proud of him and his accomplishments of what he did and where he came from. And then, so listening to him and following him on his journey. And my husband and I, so that's the first part why. The second part is my husband and I both, we're just patrons. We are patrons that believe in what the United States represents, the Constitution, and these veterans and what they have put their lives on the line for that, to protect our rights of the Constitution. And so there was a small way of us to say, how can we can give back in some capacity. And again, so hearing that so many veterans, homeless veterans, do not have somewhere to stay, we decided, we had a conversation, and it just came together organically, where we were like, this is what we're going to do. We are going to provide housing. And again, we started down this journey with you guys in 2024. However, since probably 2015, 2016, we have been kicking this around. COVID happened, kind of threw a wrench in some things. We had went up through, we were trying to buy some land at one time to build 100 some housing facilities. That went south because the property, we found out the land was wetlands. So, but we have been on this journey really probably since about 2016 or 2015. But we started it because of my nephew. And like I said, coming alongside with him, just being so proud of his accomplishment and what he's done. And then secondly, just being patrons of this country, really appreciate all it has to offer, and it does offer us, and want to be able to give back to the veterans for their services is how we actually got started in this.
Okay, that's good to know. I never knew the why.
Right.
And I know, and with working with Aaron, they always tell you it's important to tell your why. And
Right.
I didn't know, and I thought it would be good for everybody else watching to know. Everybody has a why,
Yep.
whether you're running a business or not. You have a why for what you do, and it
Exactly.
sounds like that's a very good why. And
Yeah.
it's very, like you said, it's very patriotic, and it's very helpful to the United States as a whole, because there's not a lot of there's people out there doing some stuff, but there's
Hmm.
it's again, a lot of the veterans have recently gotten laid off,
Yep.
and it is very unfortunate, and they're like they've served our country, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like now
Absolutely.
they got to make moves and figure out what they're doing, what their next moves are, and do things. And my father's a veteran. We have
Oh,
people on
wow.
our board who are
Yeah.
veterans that have served in different branches. And
Hmm.
sometimes when you run across veterans, they either tell you they serve, they're either
Yep.
very outspoken about it, or they don't really speak about it a lot.
At all. Right.
Really speak about the military a lot. But like I
Yeah.
said, it's good to know. It's good to have a why, and
Yeah.
it's important in business to have a why. And
Wow.
everybody always thinks everybody thinks that I just want to get in business to make money.
Right.
No,
Right. Right.
it's not.
Thank you.
For some
Thank you
people,
for
that's
saying
what
that.
it is. And if
Right.
you know that's what it is, that's what it is. But for us and for yourselves, and what we try to cultivate in our incubators and the business we
Hmm.
work with is more than just making money. You're actually trying to benefit your community.
Exactly. And I love that. That's a great segue when you talk about when you say community, because that's exactly what it is, guys. In the beginning, incubator it's a family and it's a community, right? A
Mhm.
family community. It truly is. And they do, and the advice they're going to give you is going to take you to the next level. I would say this, but you have to do what they tell you to do. If you do what they tell you to do, you will get to the next level. And so those the services that they provided to us, I mean, if you go to their website, it's just off the chain. And until what Christian said earlier, we were hesitant. We were, because we had dealt with so many other companies, right, that had sold us a bill of goods for, just to your point, for money, right?
Mhm.
And I'm here to say, when you have people giving you high pressure sales, come on, we can do this, but they focus more on they need that money up front. I would really tell you guys to really reach out and do some research on your own first. Maybe ask for some referrals of somebody, or get in contact with an organization to vet that company. Because
Mhm.
usually when they're pressuring you up front for that upfront money, it's probably not going to deliver on what they say. But in the beginning, incubator, it wasn't about that. In the beginning, you guys, Miss Johnson, Charnay, was about you wanted to know how could you really assist us, right? You guys took the time to sit down and listen, and found out. And another thing, you guys offer classes, right? So for people
Yep.
who are just starting out and don't really know which way to go or what to do or who to call, you guys were offering class in academy. And that's huge, guys.
Yeah.
And it
And
was,
we're about to finish that up here soon
yeah,
for
and
this semester.
but it was free. I mean, okay, free, right? In this economy where everything is going up, in the beginning, incubator is offering free academic classes you can take, right? So even like Christian said, they're about to wrap that up, but I just wanted to say that was, again, speaking to services that you guys do provide. And we talk about a community. So you think about a community, you think about what does that community really need to be successful, and what
Mhm.
does success looks like. And that's what I'm speaking to with In the Beginning Incubator. They success, in order for you to make their clients successful, they listen to us. They
Mhm.
have coaching calls, and out of that, they heard some people needed some classes. They needed some more classes on how to do their financing, how to do some accounting, some law, some legal
Webinars.
stuff.
Yep. Mhm. We
Yep,
have 'em.
yep.
We be doing it. We be doing the work.
Exactly,
Well, you
right?
preaching right now, like we doing the work.
Yeah,
I'm loving
true.
it, and I'm loving it, and
Yes.
it'd be so hard because I'd be like, Do anybody do people know that we actually be doing work and we do good work?
Oh my, and that's because you guys make it so seamless, so easy, right behind the scenes. That people, I mean, up front, but behind the scenes, I know you do the work, right? Because I
Yeah.
see, I got results, guys. I got a 300-some page binder that shows they do the work. But not only that, but again, they listen. They come alongside because they know they're the subject matter experts. They have the knowledge, but they need to listen, and they do listen to you to find out what it is that they really can offer you, because that's what success is. Because we all come to the table from different backgrounds, different degrees, or whatever levels of education. But in the beginning incubator listens to where we are on our journey. And that's why I say I love about the community, because they come alongside as a community, a family community. You say, okay, you need this, and they provide it. Trust me, they have the wherewith. And another thing, also, what I was mentioning too, they do coaching calls with you. They're going to make sure they assign you a mentor. So at any time we have any questions or needs, I can pick up the phone. I can call my mentor if I need a quick answer, something quick or whatever. Or if I just need that coaching call, or I just need that hour time to speak with my coach to just check in. Am I doing the right things? And what I'm speaking to, Christian, is success. What does success look like? And that's what success looks like, that you have somebody that come alongside, that have that background, that have that experience, to give you the time to say, okay, when you do the coaching call, well, okay, Ms. Williams-Lewis, did you think about this? Well, let me tell you, you need to do this. Or if I just have a quick question I need from my mentor, I can pick up the phone and get a quick answer. That's what success looks like. Because in this day and time, sometimes it's hard to get people to pick up that phone. It's real hard, but they are there, and they take the time to schedule those calls with you, and they make themselves available even beyond their office hours.
Mm-hmm. And this is I just wanted to put this on here. This is somebody watching. They said supporting veterans is extremely important to the Lord. Bless my uncle. It's been a wonderful residential home VA. Thank you for helping our veterans. So again, it is the work of the community work, and everything. It starts at an idea, because all of everything that you're saying, it started out as an idea first. Mentoring, we tried different ways. We had to run tests, try to test it. And in your business, you do that. Like I said earlier, you do things, you work with people. Sometimes it works, sometimes, but it's always trial and error. And you learn and you grow. And through this process, everybody is learning and growing in the process. And I'm happy that you all are happy and oversatisfied with your services, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm excited to see y'all's next step. I'm really excited. And so I have a question about the for you on the housing side. What does that housing process look? How does that process look? Well, I know, like you said, it takes a lot for the application to submit the application, but what is the actual, to a degree, real estate part look like? How does that look for you when you're out looking for property and bidding for the property or something like that? How does that process look for you?
Thank you again. A good question. And I'm gonna start at it and come backwards a little bit, right? So for the state living facility license that we are working on, we're in the process of getting that, right? We have to still get some documents. And so some of those documents are that they require from actually when you submit your application. You have to have a building evaluation form. You have to have a fire inspection done. You have to have a environmental sanitation inspection done by the Department of Health. And you have to provide your floor plans and a certificate of occupancy. That's far as the piece for the license application. So you have to have that. So now I'm going to address your question. So when you're out looking for properties to do this, to put veterans into house veterans, you want to make sure those 4 documents that I just mentioned to you, you're going to have those in stacks. I mean, and have those completed and submitted with the application. So you want to make sure the property, first of all, that you're looking at is going to pass those inspections. Okay. And so when you're out looking, the first thing my husband and I, we tried to find property that was in close proximity of the VA hospital. Because as I mentioned, that was one of the things veterans, we were hearing feedback from veterans was that, again, getting to the VA hospital sometimes was challenging, right? Because you could get there, you could be there for hours once you get there. So we was looking for property, we were looking for land where we could develop property on. We were looking for maybe build houses we could just purchase outright and to near the VA facility. So we were looking for properties that had at least 3 to 4 bedrooms, because again, we are going to put 2 veterans to a room. Duplexes are wonderful. If you can get a duplex, those are some things you can look at. Also, if you're thinking about, looking for residential housing. Also, if you can find them, which is excellent, really, is apartments like for you if you want to start small, or you can start large. It depends on making sure you can, that they're in an area that's conducive for the veterans. So with that being said, I'm going to say this. One of the things we heard also from veterans was that you need to be near like a bus line. So you can find the perfect property, but you want it to be near bus line. And when I say near, no more maybe 1 or 2 blocks, they don't have to do too much walking. And you want it to be near where they have pharmacists. So like a Walgreens, a CVS, because if they have prescriptions or medicine they need to get, you want to make sure that the housing is in an area where they can get to one of those type of pharmacies. You want to make sure it's near like a grocery store, or at least a convenience store, because from time to time they're going to have their own personal things, their hygienes they're going to want to get for themselves, so they can get there either in walking distance or where they can get on a bus and get there. And the good thing about buses, because they're free right now, so that's not that won't be an obstacle for them to have to pay and worry about paying to get on a bus. So when you're looking for housing, you want to look for housing in those facilities that has proximity to stores. And when I say about that, could be a convenience store, but at least stores where they can get personal hygiene items or some groceries. You want to be near definitely a bus line, so if they work, they can get back and forth to work, or if they need to get to the VA until we can offer transportation on a bus line. And you want to be somewhat of a quiet community. That was some of the things too. So we spent, Kristen, some time and talking with veterans too. We didn't just, that's why I say we really started this process probably back in 2015, 2016, talking to veterans and kind of finding out what they wanted. And one of the things that they did mention, again, some of them coming from war, like Afghanistan, Iraq, or wherever. They want to be in a community or environment that's somewhat quiet. They don't like to be around a lot of noise. Yeah, they really don't. So I would say, you look for, places that's kind of in those communities that's somewhat quiet, or have a lot of loud noise, or a lot of, illegal activity or whatever going on, right? Because you want it to be safe for them. I'm kind of going long, guys, and forgive me, but I want to try to give you, as much.
No, this is perfect. You fine.
Yeah. So, I would really target when you're looking. So it can be. So I'm gonna start off again. So I would suggest, if you're looking to start out with, try to find you like a residential house if you can, with maybe 3 or 4 bedrooms. You can certainly look for duplexes if you can find them. That's what we're starting with. We're we're starting with a triplex. I apologize. We have 3 levels, right? You want to make sure that you have laundry facility hooks up in those places, so that they can, you want to offer that to them so they can wash their clothes, or we'll have somebody can do that for them as well there. And so those are the residential types of housing I would start with. If you can certainly afford and go to a 4-unit, that would be awesome, or a 12-unit, because there's such a need for veterans. I would say, that's why I mentioned that. And then I would say you want to be in a community or a area, a neighborhood that is near a bus line for them. that's somewhat quiet as much as possible, as a safe community for them or environment, and where they have stores that they can walk to or at least get the bus there. Have a pharmacist that's kind of close by for them as well. And if you can find something that's really close over by the VA hospital or in other areas, let's say, I think there's talk about building a VA, not a VA hospital, but some other type of medical facility for veterans. I think either in Hopewell or Petersburg, down that in that area somewhere. But in proximity somewhere, if you can get them close to a VA facility, that is 100%, guys. If you can do that, then they're gonna be flocking to your door.
Yeah, and somebody asked, is there any age limits? Now, I'm gonna answer that for you because you gotta be, what is it, at least 18 or something.
Oh my God, you definitely have to be an adult. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta be 18 to even be in the military, so be considered a veteran.
Right.
At 18. But I think along that question, are families of, let's say, of a veteran that has children, like you said, a veteran with his dog. Now, a pet doesn't count as, could consider a family member, but a person. Right. A veteran and their child, or veteran and two kids, would that be something that you would be able to house somebody like that? Now, in the early stages, tell me early stages, and then later stages, would that be something?
Okay, perfect. Again, thank you. A great question. And because I kind of hit on it earlier, but I didn't really go into details. So starting out in the early stages, as you mentioned, we're only doing single males, and we're mainly focusing on the males because we found out doing research and studies that it's mainly the males that's and you have females, don't get me wrong, but we have really focused more so on the males. So we're starting out in the beginning with single males. They may be, and the reason we're saying that is because we're putting two to a room. So yeah. So that's the first. We're starting out early in that stage there. Now, down the road, it is certainly to be able to offer it for females as well as males. Now, we won't get into far as families until later down the road as well. And when we do that, we want to have apartments for them. So they at least have a 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. But starting out, it's more advantageous for us and economical to start with a house where we do rooms. So we're starting with the rooms. And the good part about that, Christian, is that those who start with us in the rooms, once we get to the apartment level later on, they will get the first option to come into an apartment. So they'll have the first dibs to get one of our apartments. And those apartments will be certainly at that stage, yes, they can bring their family. And so we'll have our goal there because, again, listening to the veterans is to have start with 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. But early on, initially in the beginning, we're just doing rooms for mainly males, single males. And then down the road, and when I say down the road, let me try to put some content to that. So we're talking maybe, and that's going to depend on the market, right? Because right now in Richmond, in the areas that we're really looking in, it's real hard to find something right now in terms of apartments. So if somebody hear this on this call right now, or they know somebody, say, hey, we got a 4 unit, we got a 12 unit, we got an 8, call us. So that means we can start sooner doing the apartments, right? We can start there, but we're starting with the rooms because we do have a partner that's coming alongside with us that has a triplex that has 6 rooms in it. So that's why we're starting there. But down later on, as I mentioned, it is to do apartments. So that's the content I want to provide for that. And with the apartments, we will have a community room there where we will have them so they can come in and have a designated space so they can do, work with them with their, helping them get their benefits, and they can come in and have us, the counselor come in with offer them counseling as well. So the apartment really is something we are shooting for, and I alluded to this. We that could be anywhere from the next 6 months to a year, or if we get a resource sooner, somebody say, hey, we got something, because we have financing in place that can come. Somebody can help us with some financing with a 4 unit, 12 unit, or whatever. So, but yeah.
So another, we getting up about like last 10 minutes here. I have one more question, and somebody had mentioned research is key, and it is it varies. And it, again, in business, you do market research, you
Yes.
research your clients, you do polls, you
Yep.
do. I don't know if you get them. We do internal job polls, and
Mm-hmm.
polls. So actually going out and getting research and talking to your clientele and seeing what they want.
Yep.
Definitely, it changes. It changes over time. But
Yep.
if you do it the way Miss Barbara does it, because I didn't know that. I didn't even think about having it near the VA, having it near
Right.
a pharmacy, having it. I didn't think about that, or even having it somewhere it's not a lot of sound. So I
Right.
didn't think about that. But you do the research, and you've
Yep.
been doing the research for a substantial amount of time now, and
Mm-hmm.
you understand, and you're the subject matter expert in your area. So that is perfect, and that is just for everybody watching. If you're
Yep.
in business or you want to get into business, do your research. Look at
Yes.
ask people, go to webinars, take classes, do everything you need to do to
Yep.
gain as much knowledge as you possibly can, because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can
Exactly.
take what you know and what is factual away from you. And you have to do your own research. You have to get research from everywhere and talk to people and read different things. Use AI. AI is very helpful as well. Ask
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, asking
Right.
things like that. It's very, very helpful. Um,
But
but
if I can interrupt and just say real quickly, that is true, but don't ever forsake the power of building relationships,
yeah,
right? That building those relationships and collaborating with other organizations that are doing what you are doing. Because a lot of times those organizations have already gotten a lot of research also yourself. So instead of you doing it's good for you to get out there like we did. We kind of went on our own and kind of just set up some information sessions to talk to veterans. We did that with one of our churches. So even your churches, right? We did that. We worked with our church to do an information session, and that's how we heard a lot about what veterans really wanted, right? And you'd be surprised, but don't ever forsake or underestimate the power of relationships, building those relationships and collaborating with other organizations that's already doing what you're doing. Because, and that's one thing I love about In the Beginning Incubator. They have so many other clients that's kind of doing, they probably got one, if not, they'll get you one or find one for you that's doing what you're trying to do.
yeah,
And and set up meetings with you with that client. They'll do introduction meetings for you to talk to that client, to help you
yeah.
and give you some
I'm
ideas.
sorry, but because we're meeting people,
Yep.
our job is to meet people and to get other and build up the ecosystem.
Yep.
We meet other clients, we meet other businesses, and we feed other businesses, and they feed us, and we give resources to other people. And I have one more question I'm gonna ask you here because we're getting towards the end.
Mhm.
Our relationship with AFP. Now, I don't know if you had lobbied at all. Had you lobbied this past session at all?
Not this past session, but I have lobbied before. Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
So, I don't know if you are aware. Me and Charnay had lobbied, and Mr. Cliff, I don't know if he's on, he lobbied with us as well. And
Okay.
we're in the process of creating our own bill that we
Oh
wanted
wow.
to get submitted. So you work with veterans, and I know there are veterans in our house, in the
Right.
House and in the Senate that
Yes.
could patron bills and you introduce bills to
Yep.
them. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you work with Aaron, and Aaron is a resource. Aaron is there as a resource to help our businesses and help. And
Yes.
we got
Yes.
help. We got stuff passed. Like I so much that we got passed. Most of the bills that we lobbied for, they got passed through. We just waiting for the governor to sign them. And
Let me just say, because that is an untapped market, right? That African Americans really need to do some research on.
yeah,
Because you'll be surprised what difference it makes just showing up to your senator or other senator's door, right?
exactly.
Let me tell you guys, I can't say enough. Like I said, I have done the lobby thing before. I knocked the doors and did a lot of that too. But you talk about relationships, and let me say this. We reached out to, he's not even our senator. And I'm talking about United States Senator, Mr. Rob, and I'm not trying to give anybody any special attention, but Mr. Rob Whitman he came alongside with us and he said to us, anything you guys need, I can help you with it. And he put his mouth where his words was. He got the the name is escaping me right now, but I have the document where the executive director of the VA organization signed a document for us to help us come along to advocate, to help us and get us up and going. Yep. Also, locally, we went and met with other delegates here, and Miss she was the senator, but she's no longer there. Miss oh my God, her name, Miss Donovan, Senator Donovan, had met with her, and same thing. I got emails just because I took the time to go out and I met with them. I went to their office, or during my lobbying time, I stopped in and shared with them or sent them emails. And let me tell you guys, your local council person, your board of supervisor, I've met with them. That's why I was talking about building relationships. Start going to those meetings. Start going. And just introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I live in your district. I'm interested in this. Trust me, they're there to come alongside and help you more than you think.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we do. We have good relationships with them. That's why we're even doing a bill. We had met with delegates who we went and talked to and said, this is what we do. We want a bill. And we're got to get it in soon. Right. And we're going to our bill for returning citizens and contract. It's a contract bill. So and my tidbit, like you said, I think it is important for people to know, because a lot of times our legislators and our people who create bills and create laws that are laws.
Yes.
If you don't go and talk to them and tell them on both sides, Democrat and Republicans, because we flipped a Republican for a bill who is pro-business, who is strictly pro-business. Charnay sat and debated and went back and forth with him. And it was so good. It was like so good, because you know how we are. It was so good to see, see people, see Charnay work and see our clients work in that capacity and know how to advocate for themselves, because it's really important, because like you said, one thing happens, and you can see now in the federal government, one thing happens, so many things that are falling apart. So it's just like, what we're gonna do?
Right.
You got to do it at the ground level. Starts at the ground level. You do this, and you got to be involved. So, and I'm saying that for you because you work with veterans. So I want you to be aware of being tapped into the legislators and meeting, because you already said Rod Whitman, he had written a letter. We had told Tim Kaine, we said, we're going to apply for this. Will you give us a letter of support? Write a letter of support. Yep. Of course. He's like, of course we will.
A letter of advocacy.
The only reason we work with the Langston University now is because Miss Johnson called the federal government and said, look, I need to work, and I want to work with this is who I want to work with. And I don't want to deal with the bureaucracy. I just want to do the work. And that's how they partnered us with the university in Langston University out in Oklahoma. So I think it's just important for people to know, and you're political as well. And I know it's important for you to know, especially in veterans, advocating for veterans.
Yes.
Not only in your business, but in legislation, in government, on that side as well, in politics.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm gonna wrap this up. So Miss Barbara, please do your close out for us. I'm gonna let you close out, and then I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna put your information on how to contact you. And listen, I don't even know. I made your business email. This your business email. I don't know if you got access to it. I don't know if you went on there and logged in yet or not, but we're gonna get you on there if you did. But
yes,
I know
please do.
We do. You got it.
No, good. I don't. I need you to help me with how to get to it.
Yeah, how to get to it. So that's what I'm saying. But this is that email. This is your business email. So if anybody wants to contact you, and if you had a phone number as well to contact you about any questions. But I'm gonna let you close out. You can do your close out.
Yes.
And don't worry, we're not gonna forget you when we become multimillionaires. We're not gonna forget you.
I swear, your husband always come in and say, like, he just we were at one event with MP, and I know we'll go off a little bit. We were at one event, the no tax on tips event.
The British hub.
The British hub right there.
Yes.
He was like, Everybody was like, "You want to pay?" He was like, "Who wants to keep paying taxes?" No. And your husband was the only person to say, "I do." If they keep giving us refunds.
They still talking about that.
No, we don't want to keep paying. He was the only one that said, "I do." If they keep paying us refund, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" That's so
And you know it got quiet after that too. Nobody said nothing.
exactly. Everybody was like, "Oh," and it just went quiet. Exactly.
But that was my husband, guys. That was family. That was my husband, Earl Lewis. We've been together almost 40, going on probably at 40 some years, guys. It's been wonderful. So I just want to kind of wrap up and say, In the Beginning Incubator, guys, I mean, just awesome with the services they provide. They can provide to you as well as they provide to Veteran Housing LLC. And we are just excited to be one of their clients. And I tell you, it is a family. I can't say it enough. You're coming alongside a family, a community of a family, guys. And just don't, I mean, even if you got burned, take the risk. That's what we did. And I'm going to tell you, you would not regret it. You would not. And I just want to say thank you all so much for allowing me to take this time to speak with you.
Yep, Mr. Earl, we love you. We love you too as well. Miss Barbara, thank you for having us on. I said having us on, like, you know.
That's right. Now y'all show me some love too. I'm the daddy. Show me some love.
We love you too. We support y'all both. We support both of you. I don't want you to think I'm talking about you now. But,
I know that's right.
But we love you too. And this is their email. And somebody asked a question about the bill. I'm not going to talk about the bill too much yet. If you follow us on our social media, we'll keep you posted about the bill because we're still in the process of submitting it and getting people to patron it. And we won't submit it until later in the spring. So you will keep you posted on our social media if you want to know about the bill and the bill process. But this is Veterans Housing website. Visit them at veteranshousingllc.com. And this is our email, Ms. Johnson's email. You can email her at info@inthebeginningco.com if you have any questions about In the Beginning, if you want to work with In the Beginning. This is our website as well, inthebeginningco.com. Visit us, book a consultation. Any questions, go look at our videos. We update the website. So if you want to see anything or check anything out before calling us, do that. Or if you just want to call us, you give us a call, 804-468-8149, 8141. And Ms. Barbara said we'll do stuff after hours.
Yes.
It's selective. It's very selective. We understand if you tell us that you work, like for Ms. Barbara, it's very situational. But, you know, right. I get a phone call after hours. I'm not going to answer it if it's after 5. but
he just being real.
Exactly. But we understand. But thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We hope you all stay blessed, stay safe out here, and give us a call if you want to start your businesses. 804-468-8141. Thank you again, Miss Barbara, for joining us, and thank you everybody for hopping on. And we will see y'all next in March. We have one starting, the one that we were supposed to have next week, in March. So join us back here on next Tuesday for another live, and we'll keep y'all posted. Stay posted on our social media.
Take care, family. God bless.
Have a good night, y'all.
Take care.